Good morning, guys. Well, let me just check this back wheel. Yeah, not so bad. Actually, as you know, we had a puncture in Andamanum. We got the puncture fixed. Guy didn't do a really good job of it. So we went to Don Salvador yesterday. Got into Don Salvador to my girlfriend's cousins. Came out throwing it down with rain, which it does in the afternoon in Don Salvador. Good morning there, which it does in Don Salvador. It normally rains in the afternoon, guys. You better go in the morning. So, got on bike, started to ride away in the rain. I got a puncture, so we went to a place to get, a garage further up. I'm lucky actually. It's about 7 o'clock here in the morning now. I'm lucky it's brown out. There's no music playing. So we found a place just at the top of the hill and we said, can you fix us this puncture? No, there's no electric, brown out. So I actually was pushing it down the mountain into Don Salvador. Not up the mountain, down the mountain. So I pushed this bike down into Don Salvador, heading down into the town, and a guy shouted us, what's wrong with the bike? Girlfriend said, we've got a puncture. So he shouted us over, and he actually took the back wheel off and he fixed the puncture. So what he did, he took it off. So he took it all off, took the tyre off, took the inner tube out, cleaned all the inner tube up, glued it, patched it, put it back on, and it's quite good. So it's okay now. So hopefully no more back punctures. And you can see I've actually been and bought a chain and sprocket from YAMAHA back collared, but you can see that chain there is not very good and that sprocket's not very good. These tyres are actually, they're not so bad. They're not very good. I think in another 2 months, a month's time, these tyres need changing. They're not too bad, so they'll get changed when I can afford to change them. It's going to be about 2 or 3 months' time, I think. So, I actually didn't get, for this XTZ 125, no front sprocket. Like I said, we run all over back College City. Then we went back to Yamaha, bought the back sprocket and the chain. So I ordered a front sprocket. You can't put a back sprocket on and a chain on without changing that all the sprockets, because if that front sprocket's worn, which it should be, what we got on bike now, we've got nearly 7,000 kilometres, so it'll be worn and it'll just wear him down too quick. So I've ordered a sprocket for the XTZ, front sprocket. So that's going to be 3 weeks to a month. So it should be okay. It's as simple as this, I've got to wait. Now, hopefully that chain won't snap. But now you'll see the chain is very, very tight. It's actually a little bit too tight, but it's not bad, because it will stretch it. Let's just hope it don't stretch it and go snap. So, should be okay. So that's it. Now, like I said, I've never had any problems with this bike, but it's a brand new bike. I haven't maintained it. I've had it about 6 months, I think. I haven't maintained it. I've done nothing to it. I ain't even changed air filter and checked air filter. Done nothing to this bike. So, what problems have I started to have with this bike? That's about all. See that? I can't see myself. See that the electric start? So that's your electric start button. That's your cutout button. That's your electric starter. Can't turn lights off on this bike. They're on all the time, which is a good thing here in the Philippines. Just keep the lights on in daytime. So, when I start... It's strange actually. I went on a it must have been 70 kilometres from here to Don Salvador and back. I know what it is, it's about 70 kilometres. Takes me about 50 minutes, 55 minutes on this bike to get up into the town of Don Salvador. So it only takes me about 50 minutes. Nah then, so that's it. This electric start here, what's happening with it is it's not starting up on electric start, and it's been on a good run, but it sometimes it does. I've had to start kicking the bike up, which is a pain in the ass. So you look onto there, you see green light's really fadey, and then sometimes it fires up. So I'm just wondering if there's any water, or it's not contacting, but battery's on its way out. So, but lights are good on it, but that's the only thing. You know, when I go to start it on electric start, battery, it won't start, I've got to kick it up. But then the lights are on and the bike runs fine. So, whether there's water in it or not, I don't know. So, you know, I ain't got tools to undo it. I ain't got tools to undo it to check it. But it needs checking, I'll have to check it. So it could be something to do with electrics. So I'll have to check it sooner or later. That's it, buying tools. So that's it. So that's the bike. Like I said, I've never had any problems with it. I've had a front wheel puncture, and I've had 2 back wheel punctures. Well, having said that, I've had a back wheel puncture fixed, and then guy didn't fix it properly. So he didn't fix it properly, and then that's what happened in Don Salvador. But what's bad about that? Going to Don Salvador on this bike, and it's raining. You're stuck in the mountains, and if it had been late at night, we'd have had it. We'd have been stuck in mountains, and it would have been siling it down with rain, and we'd have been stuck. And what I'd have had to do is find somewhere. But you know, you're in the mountains, so we'd have been stuck. So that, I'll tell you what I thought. I thought that puncture would be okay actually, but we did pull a big piece of wire out of that back tyre when I went to get that chain tightened up. So I thought, this bike might not make it to Don Salvador, that chain and sprocket might not make it. But that chain and sprocket, it's still, I hope it's still good for another 2 or 3 weeks. And then I can get me chain and sprocket set on. So that's it, XTZ YAMAHA. So that's it, guys. I've never done any work to this bike. Like I said, I've not cleaned air filter. I should check it. So I need to check it sooner or later. But like I said, I've got no tools to do any work on this bike. So I'm going to have to buy a few tools. But I've never touched this bike. Not touched it. It's always been reliable. And like, only issue is probably this starter. When we go to start this bike, that's probably only issue. So that's probably it. And that's probably water. So, like I said, brand new bike, so to speak. So, see, them tyres, when I do, them tyres I'm going to actually run them bold, because I just ain't got money to replace them. So, to be honest, I ain't got money to replace them. So, seriously, I'm going to have to run them down bold. So, and then replace them when I can. And that's as simple as that. So, hopefully, they'll be okay. But they're not very good on that stuff there. You know, these tyres, even when they're good tyres, they're not very good. But like I said, it's ready for some new tyres. It's not so bad. It's ready. I think get a month. Get a couple of months. More like 3 months. But that's when I get them changed. But that's it, guys. We'd have been stuck in the mountains of Don Salvador due to a puncture. So now I've been thinking, you know, if you're going off, if you're here in the Philippines, you're going off into the mountains. Now weather changes really quick and it can be very dangerous up in the mountains. So I thought, I can't keep having this you know, getting punctures, especially if I'm in Don Salvador. So what I thought was, I don't know if they do it here. I'm gonna have to buy. I forgot it's a foam. You put it into, when your tyre's flat, you actually put it in there. In fact, that's not perfect. I've just spotted that. That's not perfect. That should be straight. Should be straight out. So I hope that's okay. So that inner tube actually should have been pulled round a bit. That should be straight. Hopefully it should be okay. So, like I said, it's not perfect, but it's okay. Hopefully okay. Right, so that's it. I thought get some foam. If you get a back wheel puncture or you get a front wheel puncture, take that off there, and then psh, it should blow it up and get you to a safe place. So that's it. I'm not stopping in this morning. Bike's fairly clean because we rode back in torrential rain from Don Salvador, so we actually got wet through. Wrong time to go in afternoon. We always go in afternoon. We should have gone about 9 o'clock in the morning. We'd have got back, we wouldn't have got wet. We'd have still got a puncture, I'm sure, but you know, it's not so bad. So that's it. This morning, I'm gonna kill you. I am. Oi! Stop it! She's there chewing my shoes up. And I've kicked her out this morning. She's been kicked out of the house this morning. That's Phyllis Slade there chewing my shoe. And I've kicked her out this morning because she's peed in the house. She's just stood on the step there and peed, so I've thrown her out of the house. Now she's a big dog and she knows different. This is Lexi. What are you doing there? So she knows. Oi! I'm just going to sort her out now because she don't, you know, you'll tell her what to do and she doesn't listen at all. She doesn't listen to a thing. You tell her. So I'm going to take my slipper off her. I'm going to take my shoe off her before she chews it to pieces. So I hope you're all having a great morning here. That's the XTZ. Like I said, it's a good bike. You can thrash it. I mean, I would actually. Pads are good. I've checked pads on that back brake. Pads are good, so I know they're good. Not very good stoppers, like, but they do work okay. It could do with converting to a disc, but then you're talking money, aren't you? And like I said, it needs to be a 250, this 225. It's just not powerful enough for 2 up. You know, there's me and there's a girlfriend on that bike. And like I said, getting ready for an oil change. So when that gets to 7,000, so when it gets to 7,000, I will actually oil change it. Now that's the volcano. Let's have a look. That's the volcano. But she weren't in clouds this morning. So that's it. We're here in the gorgeous province. Absolutely beautiful. So that's the bike. I haven't maintained it whatsoever. But actually it needs maintaining, it needs checking. So that's it, guys. XTZ 125. We were in a little bit of trouble yesterday. So if you saw anybody pushing an XTZ through the mountains of Don Salvador yesterday, it was me. Take care, God bless.